So let's just continue moving on with this scene. We just have to keep modeling. We're going to be doing more details this round, and I'm going to continue working on this particular building here because I wasn't done it in the previous video. So I'm going to be adding doors with some Boolean operations, and then I'm going to take it from there. So Shift A, mesh cube. There we go, that's pretty good. And let's just use that. So I have to copy the rotation of the building. Control C, copy rotation. Rotate it 90 degrees. And let's get it into position. I'll probably do 2 of them. Turn off snap. And then tab A, Shift D, XX. 2 doors. And then Boolean, add modifier, Boolean before bevel, and then use those as cutters. Set them to wire so I can see through them. And then I want one up here as well, so I can have like a balcony. See it freak out a bit if it doesn't like where you put it. Oh, why didn't that work? There we go. GUIY, or sorry, XX, GXX. So I'm happy with all those, so I'm just going to apply this Boolean. Like I said, the topology on this building is going to be a bit messy just because I'm working pretty quickly. We can get rid of these doors. Actually, that one's too close to the edge. I'm going to do that. There we go. Then I'm going to apply that Boolean. I'm going to add a balcony here, a really quick one, just a little like cube. A mesh cube, as said, copy rotation, Control C, copy rotation, size that down, SX, SY. There we go, that should be good. This isn't going to be seen anyway, but I'm going to put like a railing on it. Just add some interest to this wall here. There we go. And then I'm going to put a railing on it. Shift D, get it into position. Adjust the array. Stretch it out a bit. See, like I said, these areas are not going to be very close to the camera, so you can get away with doing things a little bit quickly. I could easily spend like 3 weeks modeling this whole city, but in the interest of time, I'm going to take some shortcuts so we can get a presentable animation in a shorter amount of time. We can get rid of these cutters. You'll see Booleans really mess with topology. That's why I try to avoid them when I can, but they do save time. And let's see, let's move on to, let's do the door frames. So I'm just going to copy this, Shift D, P, selection, and then I'm going to use a solidify modifier on it. Sorry, I must have the building selected. Yes, I do. No solidify on that, just the door frame, please. Solidify. put it before the bevel. There we go. GUYY. Bring in the door a bit. When did that bevel get so strong? I accidentally touched it, didn't I? Let's turn that down a lot. What was it? 0025? There we go. Shade smooth, and I'm going to do edge split. Before the bevel. There we go. You can see some shading artifacts. We can clean those up in post, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. And turn on even thickness. I have no idea why this isn't default. I don't know why you would ever not want even thickness. Set origin to geometry. And then we just need some for these doors. So Shift D, RZ90, and move them into position. And can we see these doors? Here, I'm going to make them less deep so we can actually see them in the camera view. And then we got the railing. Let's do this building a bit more. So let's do cut here. Actually, hold on, apply scale. Let's bevel the corner a bit. Just one. There we go. Loop cut. GZ. Extrude. Just to add some interest to it. Oh, it's too much. Too much interest. There we go. I'm gonna snap it. GX. GY. And does it have a bevel? I do believe it does. Yes, it does. Just gonna make sure it looks good from the camera angle. And then let's put a box on the roof. Shift A, mesh cube. Do another cut. Get a bit shorter, off to the side. Snap is still on. I'll just size this down. Whatever position you like. There we go. And I'm gonna add some windows to it. So I'll use that man as a reference again. That seems like it's about one floor. There we go. Control B to bevel that. And actually here, I'll do them on these lines. Select all those again. Control B. There we go. And select these windows. Oh, they're really big. Ah, that's okay. Actually here, let's make them a little bit smaller. Bring them in just a little bit. There we go. And here I'll inset them a bit. And then let's just do some quick like electrical wiring going up the side. So I'm just going to make a cylinder, very, very skinny cylinder. Actually here, let's do a curve path. There it is. Let's rotate it on the X. There we go. Bring it over here. GZ. And let's give it some thickness. Under bevel, there it is. So basically I want each floor to like branch off. So I'll do this main one. And then I'm going to duplicate that, Shift This is rotated, isn't it? Oh no, it's straight. Great. Shift D. Right beside it. Get a good angle on it. And then I'm going to shrink this down. And I'm going to select this, Shift S, cursor to selected, and then rotate around the 3D cursor, change the pivot, RY, 90. There we go. Subdivide these. There we go. GX. There we go. GZ. Then select this, Shift S, cursor selected, Shift A, mesh cube, bring it in. So this will be like a little like electrical box. I'll make one for each floor. And let's do one at the top. Let's bring this closer. Make this wire view so I can see what's going on. Bounding box center, S Shift Y. There we go. And then I'll just select these and duplicate them for every floor. Turn off snap, that's gonna drive me nuts. Shift DZ. It's kind of big. Here, I'll actually resize these ones. And these ones. And let's do individual origins. S Shift Y. There we go, looking good. And let's make sure they're actually flush to the wall. So that breaks up the wall a bit, so it's a bit less plain. And then let's add a quick railing to the top of it. So I'm just going to take this one from the previous one that we did. Oh, unparent it, Alt P, clear parent, RZ. And reduce the array. It's already a good size. And select both of them. GZ. Get them on the roof. Can you snap for that? Or can we? What are you snapping to? There we go. Okay, and we need one more for that little 45-degree angle. So turn off snap. RZ 45 or minus 45. There we go. Do it quick and dirty. Just line it up with the railings there. GYY XX. I never remember which is which. So you see me see GYY and then XX. It means I got my guess wrong. Okay, and then bring this in. There we go. Now it has a more interesting profile. I want to do some quick little antenna on these tops of these buildings, just so it like has a bit of an interesting silhouette. So it's going to model a cylinder. S Shift Z needs to be very skinny. S Shift Z. Oh, it's at 64, isn't it? Here, let me do that again. Shift mesh cylinder 32. These are going to be very small, so we don't need high poly. Even this is overkill. And then basically I'm just going to be extruding it out so it looks a bit interesting. So there's going to be like radio antennas. So I'll do cross or loop cut here. ES shift Z. And then the base. We won't see the base. Actually, I won't worry about that. Just put a little, few little points of interest. So Control B, stretch it out. ES shift Z. Just want a few bumps on it because we're just going to be using it for like its silhouette. So just try to make it shape a little bit interesting. Even if you can't see them very well, it will be noticeable. It'll add a little bit because like little details always add up. Even if you think they aren't like noticeable, they always add up. And then I need a new cylinder, so Shift A mesh cylinder. One and Shift DZ. There we go. And actually here, work on this one individually. And then we can just duplicate what we make. 2 cuts, SX. Individual origins on SX. Spread them to the ends. Select all these faces with Alt Face Select. Oops, I accidentally stretched it out, didn't I? ES Shift X. Give them some weight. Then go back to individual origins. SX. Taper them in a bit. There we go. And then I'll select that. Shift DZ. Bring it to that other spot. RZ. You can kind of choose a random number. Here, I'll just do it by eye. Go to the top. RZ. Now we can use these to add a little bit of interest. So I'm going to put it on the sign. Awesome. That's actually kind of big. And then let's put another one on top of this building. We'll be adding little details like wires and stuff in clip afterwards. So that's looking good. I just want to put a quick ridge on this building, this like balcony. GZ. I'll just use Solidify for that again. There we go. Shift D, P, selection, add a Solidify to it. Even thickness, as always, and bevel that out. So next, let's just replace this placeholder fence. So if you go File, Import, Wavefront OBJ, then find the chain link fence OBJ I made for you. We can use that to replace it. It is high poly, so it will might take a while. The proportions on it are not super realistic. Like I made the wires quite thick. That's because I was using it in another project and I was having trouble getting it to actually appear in the render if I use realistic proportions. So that's why it's kind of exaggerated, like the wires are pretty thick on it. So let's see, let's change this array to like 3. And now we can just apply the rotation to the fence and then select the old fence, Control C, copy location, Control C, copy rotation, Control L, and copy modifiers. That might take a sec because it's going to duplicate it now. There we go. Can delete that, and let's just size this one up. And move it into position. Probably have to switch to camera view for this. There we go. I'll just do one more repeat. How's it look rendered? Your renders will take a little bit longer now because of that fence. GXX. There we go. Sweet. So let's just switch to doing the faraway buildings. You might have already imported it because we did that in the previous video. There we go. And let's switch these assets. So I'm just going to bring it in by copying it from the other project. You might already have it in there since we did this in the previous video. I'm going to size it up, switch out our render view. Try and get to like a similar size as the previous skyscrapers. The new one is quite a bit thicker, so we will have to play with the composition a little bit. Also, it is backwards, just because of how I did it in FSpy. So RZ180. There we go. Apply that rotation. And then Control-C, copy location, copy rotation. GZ. As you can see, it's much thicker than before. And then, let's see, let's move it here. There we go. And delete the old one. Both of them, we don't need either of them anymore. Let's see how it looks. We do have to put a bevel on it, like a very light one. Add modifier, bevel, 0.0025. Because even if you can barely see it, it will change the look of the render very slightly, and it actually is kind of noticeable if you're paying attention. Apply scale. There we go. And let's see. I want to cut it up a little bit just so it's like it fits the scene a bit better. So let's switch to render. So I'm just going to do a cut here just to make it look a little more like sci-fi, you know. That actually helped a lot, so let's just use that. And then I'm going to make another one. D. I kind of like this formation of them kind of like curving. So I'll do that. It makes it feel like it's more like the city's more contained, like they're a wall. So let me just position those, and then we'll get the bridge to connect them. So just get the bridge. We don't have to be too particular with the bridge, because it's not going to be very noticeable. So let's get them so they are connected at least. And how are we looking in camera view? Make it taller. And size, oops, individual origins is on. Bounding box center, size these down. Here, I'm going to do top-down view and camera view so I can get a good look. There we go. I'll make one of them different heights. I'm just playing with composition now, so however you like it. And this isn't final. We can scale these like in After Effects too, so don't worry. That's really when we'll like figure out the final look of everything. I'm gonna round this corner too. Looks a little sharp. There we go. There we go. Cool. And then we can move on to the foreground. So we just have to do a few details here because it is very close to the camera, so it will be noticeable for a bit lazy there. So let's just clean up the railing a bit. So I'm gonna get rid of this light. I don't want to do that anymore. I do want to put a more fleshed out door on here. So I'm just going to go out of render view, select the frame, press period so I'm more focused on it. Select these two top parts. Oh, and these rings. Edge loops, that's their name. And then I'm gonna bring the door in a bit. There we go. And I'm going to make an additional, like, I don't know the name, subframe, an additional frame into the in addition to the main one. So Shift D, P selection, solidify modifier again, even thickness as it always should be, scale. There we go, and bring it in a little bit. There we go. And let's see, that's a little bit too deep still. So I'm just going to bring that in. We just have to put like a knob and a lock on it. So I'll just quickly model a knob. Shift A, mesh cylinder. I said, here, I'll bring it up here so we can actually see it. And let's do wireframe. Gonna kind of build it from the part that connects to the door. So I, inset, E. Or more. Let's do one more. There we go. And then I'll bevel this top ring so it's a bit softer. There we go. And I want sort of like an indent here, so I'm going to grab this one and then turn on proportional fall off with this. And now it'll affect the whole area. So this one, an indent here. And scroll your scroll wheel if it's like affecting it too much or too little. So just adjust it to your liking. And I'll select that ring, bevel that too. Let's do one. Soften these up. Control B, there we go. Size that out a bit. Oh yeah, I have proportional fall off on. That's okay. Is it still called that, or did they change the name? I'm not sure. Oh, proportional editing. I thought it was called proportional fall off. Oh, that might be this. Ah, that's it. Never mind. We're good. And then let's bring this in. As Shift said. There we go. This whole thing should probably be smaller. And then for the lock, let's just do another cylinder. Shift, mesh, and cylinder. There we go. Just have to taper the bottom. Bring it in, GZ. I'll do that part connects to the wall. And this, I'll just zoom in here. I'll do I for inset. And then I'll do Control B for bevel. So I get like this ring. And then I'll select that ring with face select and Alt. and then drag that in. There we go. Bevel this. Shade smooth. Edge split. There we go. Lock and knob. So let's get those lined up. They are not pointing in the right direction. So I'm going to snap through the lock. There we go. And I'll do the lock above the knob. There we go. And we can group these. And let's get them in position. So that would be RY 90 and then RZ 180. They're a little bit big, so let's size them down. Turn off, actually here, let's get them at least on the door before we turn off snap. GX, there we go, okay. So just select the edge there, or drag it to the edge there. GZ, size it down. And they're about halfway up the door. Just get these to scale. Snap again. Okay. Seems close enough. There we go. It was snapping to everything I didn't want it to snap to. Go to camera view so we can get a review of it. That's really high. So let's do GZ, GY. We just have to fix the railing a little bit because it is very prominent. And this was just like a blockout thing. So basically, I want to stretch it out just so it's wider. ESY. Go, and I'm gonna make it a little bit like flatter. GZ. Oh, sorry. Turn this off. GZ. Oh, turn off snap too. GZ. There we go. So it's an array right now. We're gonna apply that, but we have to fix these divisions between them because we're gonna put a bevel modifier on these because these are going to be very prominent, and we don't want like unnatural looking sharpness to it. And if you have the array on, it's going to exaggerate that a lot. You're going to see these like weird gaps in the bars. So we just have to join these this way by getting the edge loop, or the loop with Alt click with edge select, and then Control E bridge edge loops. I'm not sure if you can do like select all of them and then just hit bridge edge loops once. But there's only like 4 of them, so I'm just going to do it one by one. Control E, bridge edge loops. There we go. And do we have enough? Yeah, we do. Okay. I was making sure we have enough like real estate so it doesn't get cut off when we render. And we need a bevel. I'll try taking this building's bevel. Copy modifiers. Let's get a close look at it. Control A scale. There we go. And that's too much. So let's just dial it back 0.001. Cool. That looks good to me. And then quickly, just to add like a bit of visual interest, I'll put like a prop here. So let's do like a box, like a milk crate. GZ. Snap to the floor. Or sorry, SY. Just get it into its rough shape. Turn off snap. GZ. I don't want to put it like in front of the door. That's not a good place to put anything. And then let's see. Let's just delete this face. I'll put a solidify modifier on it. Even thickness. There we go. And let's do beveled edges. I'll apply scale first. That just made it huge. That's okay. Control Alt, and it'll select all those ones. Control B, bring it in. Make it not so crazy thick. There we go. And then let's select this top row, bring it down. Just sizing it up. And let's see, let's apply that solidify, because I'm good with that width. Actually, I'll bring it in, not out. There we go. And exit edit mode and apply. And then we need some handles, so let's just do a quick Boolean, Shift A, mesh, cube. And actually I'm gonna put some like ridges on here first, because I can't loop cut if there's a Boolean. Well, I guess you can if you don't apply it. ES Shift Z, bring it out, there we go. And I want this cube to be like roughly this like shape of a handle. So SZ, Control A, scale. You can just use one for both sides, so SX. I'm gonna parent it to the box in case I have to move the box, which I do because it's floating right now. Parent to box. And then select the box, add modifier, Boolean, eyedropper, cube, then set the visibility so it is wire. There we go. I was gonna round it. It looks fine as it is. No, let's try that. And then let's put a bevel on it. Oh, let's make a new bevel. Bevel. Oh, cool. That looks pretty good. And let's do 3. And maybe a little bit less, 0.05. There we go. Cool. I was gonna round those, but they actually look pretty good as is. Well, let's do it anyway. Control B. Yeah, okay, never mind. That does look better. There we go. That should be good. And since they're parented, they move together. So I'm just gonna snap this to the floor again. No, I'm not. GZ. GZ. Oh my god. GZ. There we go. Okay. And I'll just quickly add a little ledge to this balcony. Because right now it's kind of a dangerous balcony where everything would just fall off it all the time. So I'm just going to extrude this up. There we go. The topology is a bit messy there, but that should be fine. So we have doubles right there. We can hide them with the box, actually. Oh my god, snap. GX. Probably not necessary, but whatever. Let's just do it. Make sure it's not blocking the door. Because you want somewhat like realistic placement. And no one would put one in front of a door. That's just rude. There we go. And let's do just one more thing to this building. I'm gonna grab this top face, duplicate it, Shift D, P, selection, select it, select all in edit mode, and then EZ. I want to make like a little vent just to make it more interesting up here. GXX, there we go. And then some loop cuts. Actually, here, let's inset it first. There we go. Now we can loop cut. There we go. Then we just have to select all of these. Control B. It's doing that like pointy bevel thing again. This is pretty distant, so I won't worry about it too much. There we go. No, that's okay. I'm cool with that. I'm gonna make it shorter though. Set origin to geometry. There we go. And quickly, I'm just gonna bring these to the foreground so we can use it there too. So Shift D, Y. There we go. Shift D, Y. Top view, let's get out of render view. RZ90. Bring it to this wall. Just to add a bit of visual interest. Here I'm gonna go camera view and modeling, or like free modeling view. GY, GZ, oops. No, solid. GZ. Let's see. I'm gonna get rid of these boxes because we have to be more detailed with them now that they're so close to the camera. So I'm just gonna get rid of them. There we go. Make this one a little bit thicker than the other one just to make it like a little more interesting. 0.015. There we go. GX. Then we got 2. And I just want to put little like rings so they look like they're actually attached to the wall. You wouldn't notice that on that far away one, so I didn't bother before. Mesh cylinder, bring it here. Shift S selection to active. And then using the curve modifier method again, we can just get this to follow the curve. This one's actually a straight line, but I'll do it anyway. It doesn't actually have to curve, it just has to go up. And let's bring it down. Let's do a curve modifier. Eyedropper. So there, where'd it go? There it is. We want it on the, oh, X. Okay, we're cool. And then let's do an array before the curve. And then let's spread them out. Bring them down. Because these are so close to the camera, you will notice them, and the light's gonna like hit them. I think they'll make a little interesting detail. Edge split. And let's do some for this one as well. Shift D, or sorry, Shift D. There we go. Shift S, selection to active. Where did they go? They're up here. And let's change the curve to this one. There we go. And GZ. Space these out more. Bring this down. Can make them about the same height. There we go. And then I'm just going to modify this curve a bit. There we go. And I'll bring all these down so they're just like going around the door. Cool. That moved our loops when I extruded it, so I'm just going to bring them back into position. There we go. Awesome. And then really quickly, I just want to add a another curve. Shift A mesh, or sorry, curve path. Put it on the railing. So I'm gonna have this one wrap around the railings. This is the same technique we did like way at the beginning when we made these wires. So it's gonna add some thickness to it. Forgot I'm not making a pipe, just a wire, a simple wire. There we go. And basically we want to wrap it around this railing so it's like draping off. I'm gonna do material preview so I can see it better. Control L, link material, or sorry, not modifiers, link materials. So this will take some precision to get it looking right, but spend as much time on it as you like. This is just to make more the foreground a bit more interesting because it is so prominent. Just subdividing. Every time I subdivide, correcting it. And once you sort of have like a formation that you like, go to the top view, and then just kind of arrange them so they are like actually wrapping around the railing. But yeah, like I said, you can be as specific as you like here. Hey, control scale. This seems to be there we go. If that happens, like it becomes flat like a tapeworm, then just hit control A scale and that will fix it. It's because I scaled the whole curve. There we go. Wrap it around. You do want to be careful with clipping here because it is so like up front. I'm gonna have this go off the building actually, like around the building. There we go. Probably need to subdivide it so we get a bit more control. Yeah, try and get it like, yeah, as precise as you like. More subdivisions, more control you have, but then the more time it takes to actually get it all dialed in. But like I said, it is a very prominent place, so it does pay off to be precise with it. This looks a little too like whoop whoop. It's like the same pattern twice, so I'm just gonna try and change it up a little bit. There we go. I might spend more time on this, but this is the last step, so feel free to spend as much time on this as you like. This is just like an interesting prop for the foreground. So that should be it for the modeling section. So now that we have this, we can move on to texturing and lighting, and then we'll bring it into our After Effects scene using renders. Actually, hold on, I'm going to scale this fence down a bit. There we go. Actually, we're going to bring it into Clip Studio first, before After Effects, so we can kind of like do some like hand-painted touches to it, do the line work, get it looking like very like a matte painting. And also we can get rid of this guy who served us well, but we don't need him anymore. Goodbye. There we go. So let's move on to texturing and lighting, and we'll make sure everything is good for render. So yeah, keep modeling as much as you like. Get it to like a level of detail you're comfortable with, and then we'll move to texturing and lighting after this. This was the biggest portion, so don't be afraid to like spend a lot of time on it. The more time you spend on it, the better it will look. Just because the details will really add up, like I've said before. So yeah, once you're good with your scene, let's get this thing textured. So I'll see you in the next video.